Shall we begin?
You are now tuned into Talking at the Movies with your hosts, Eddie, Salim, and Mo.
Oh man, it's been one of those weeks where I have become seriously ill. I never become ill. I know what's going on.
It's the HIV's taking effect in there.
No. Because I'm fasting, that's what it is.
What's this? They're starving yourself for like 14 hours a day or whatever it is.
Man, it's 20, in some cases 24 hours, man.
Why are you going 24 hours without food?
It's just, I thought I'll discipline.
Hours?
Yeah, because sometimes it is. If you don't wake up in the morning. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
The reason why I do it, Mo, is because I want to detox, and obviously a spiritual practice as well.
It's obviously not having a good effect on you, is it?
It's good, guys. Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Reese.
I'm your boy Salim.
I'm knowledgeable Mo.
He's sticking to that fucking Jesus, isn't he? So what's been happening, guys? Anything interesting you've been watching?
Watching, I was watching about Robocop the other day. The old school Robocop.
Took it back to Robocop.
Yeah.
The original, first film.
Yeah, the original one. And then I found out that now, at the moment, in Dubai, there's Robocop police in malls. The very first Robocop, kid you not, is now in Dubai patrolling those malls.
Robocops may not be completely science fiction anymore. The Dubai Police Department has inducted its first operational robotic police officer on May 21st. It's 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs 100 kilograms, and can speak 6 languages. But this Robocop isn't going around arresting criminals yet. People can use its touchscreen interface, though, to report crimes, pay traffic violations, and submit paperwork. It can also read faces, meaning Dubai police can use Robocop to identify suspected criminals. Its facial recognition software can also be used to identify people's facial expressions. So if someone looks sad or scared when they approach Robocop, it will respond accordingly to calm that person down. Gulf News reports Dubai plans on having 25% of its police force be robotic by 2030. Dubai is hoping that at that point, Robocops will have the capability to patrol streets and arrest people just like human officers do.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can you just push him over?
It's a bit rubbish, to be honest. It'd be so good if he just electrocuted you in it, if you're like running out the shop.
Exactly, should have like a taser that shoots out those 2 wires and just takes people down.
Yeah.
Crap.
Anyway.
Mo, you seen anything?
What have I been watching?
Yeah.
Eddie, so did you get around to watching any of The Leftovers?
I've been watching, catching up to so I can watch the last season of House of Cards. And watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. God, how good is that show?
Oh, right, so you're on that now, are ya?
How good is that? I think I've only got like a couple left at the end of this season. But
That whole dark hole thing, that's just amazing, isn't it? Go into that alternate sort of like reality.
yeah, that's what I'm into. I love it when like the title sequences just flicker and it turns into Agents of Hydra. It's just so fun.
So is that why you got Hydra on your screensaver right now?
It is indeed. But yeah, it's amazing though, because you kind of forget that even with the Ghost Rider stuff, that was all one season. They've done such a good job of just pacing this whole thing out that it feels like 2 separate seasons in one.
Yeah, I really did enjoy the whole Ghost Rider stuff though.
Yeah, you're on your own with that one. I love the Ghost Rider stuff. But yeah, this stuff's still cool, man.
Yeah.
Very good season. And catching up to House of Cards. I haven't watched this season 5 yet, but getting there. Very close. God, it's just... They're so unlikable, but at the same time, you just want to keep watching them, innit?
Those 2 characters are amazing.
They are.
They just gel so well off each other, don't they?
But at the same time, you just gotta watch them and see how much damage they can do to everyone around them. It's just, great show.
Like this, the House of Cards.
Yeah.
Yes. Very, very good show.
Every season of House of Cards is always very, very good, man. I haven't started season 5. I can't wait to get back into it.
It's damn good. You started on it yet, Mo?
So, no, I haven't started season 5 yet. In fact, I actually might do an episode this evening if I can squeeze it in between all the other things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just going to give a shout out to The Leftovers. So obviously the final episode of the series aired. I won't spoil it for you because you haven't seen it. But I will say, going on what their track record was, I expected there to be no resolution. I expected there to be no explanation and just a really poor ending. And we got none of that. I think we got as good an ending as you were ever going to get. And it was very, very enjoyable.
Good to hear. Okay, yeah, I'm be starting that one this week. We're gonna cut in the audio from our review
Yes, I think we should do that.
of The Mummy.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Dear, oh dear. Mo, you're right off the mark.
So you two really enjoyed it, did ya?
Did you see the review?
I have not seen any review. I would have just assumed that you guys enjoyed a movie with Tom Cruise in it.
He must have seen it.
Is it actually garbage?
Yes.
Could it be saved with a bit of editing, or is it that
No.
Boring.
This, you know...
Yeah, but we won't speak too much. We'll just cut in the audio from our review, and then you guys can check it out and join us on the other side. What's good, guys? Welcome back to the first take. It's time for another review. We just got out of seeing The Mummy, not the Brendan Fraser early 2000s Mummy. This is the 2017 Tom Cruise led vehicle.
Why did you take me to watch this film, Eddie?
What? You're such
Why
a liar.
did
You were such
take
a liar.
me?
You were such an habitual liar.
I wanted to
All
sit
his
at
idea.
home,
All
relax,
his idea.
just chill out in front of the TV, and he said, "Let's go watch The Mummy, people. Let's go check it out." Tom Cruise is
First impressions. Come on.
okay. Incredibly weak, over the top. These films just feel like recycled movies to me. That's how it felt.
It's fucking lit. Look, to think that they disregarded Dracula Unborn as not being a good enough start for their monster universe, which they're now calling the Dark Universe, nicking away from what DC wanted to call the Dark Universe for their Justice League Dark films. The fact that they figured Dracula wasn't good enough and that this was gonna be the one to start it, their big bombastic action blockbuster for the year.
But that's a really good point that you just made.
And Dracula Unborn, Untold was way better than this.
Yeah,
sack
it
of
was.
shit. Way better.
Way better, man.
Oh.
I just, you know what? I just can't get my head around where they screw up with this film. You know what?
The script is terrible. The story is cliche. They didn't think outside the box. They ticked every typical MacGuffin. Okay, we need an object they need to acquire that will bring life to the dead. Tick. We need a damsel in distress side female character. Tick. We need the annoying best friend who started off good.
That's what I mean.
Tick.
Don't they actually think about this stuff? Because all this stuff has just been, we've seen it again and again and again, and it would have been nice to see this film in a way that is unique, different to everything else that's presented itself for. I get it. There's got to be this kind of similar template, but it just was everything from, as you said, the script. It
started off fun. I didn't mind.
Did you like it?
The first 5 minutes, I didn't mind. You know, you see Tom Cruise as a regular guy. He's just like he's a Tomb Raider, basically.
Yeah.
Like you know, Lara Croft / Jackie Chan in Armor of God type.
Yeah.
You know, just looking for the treasures. You know, Nathan Fillion type vibe.
See,
and I didn't mind that, to be honest.
Yeah, look. They open it with Amanat, her story.
Oh, there's that part as well. That was fine.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I had it's just
it looked
come on,
plain.
really?
Yeah, it was cliched in itself, but you know, I could go along with it. Like whatever, it's just a throwaway backstory. But then yeah, they're in Iraq looking for antiquities, and there's the best friend Jake Johnson from Girl Next Door. He's pretty much playing the same thing we always see him doing, but you know, I didn't mind it. The chemistry between those two worked. They dug up.
I didn't even think it worked, Eddie, man.
It didn't.
They were trying to be funny. That scene where he's saying, "Are we gonna die? Let me think. We're gonna die." It just didn't work.
It was. Yeah, you're right. It was cliched, but it was cliched to a degree that I was willing to accept. You know, I wasn't expecting much going in, so I was willing to just kind of accept that level of, you know, typical humor. But then once they kind of uncovered the tomb, yeah, it just continues to just go down and down and just get dumber and dumber and dumber. And they tried to make this like a zombie movie as well.
Yeah, like zombie,
with a mummy movie. Fucking zombie. It's just a fucking clusterfuck, man.
It's interesting how they introducing slowly. You can see it in certain scenes. In one particular scene, they're introducing all these characters.
All the monsters. Yeah, we got the monster. We got the hand from the monster from the Black Lagoon, which they want to do a movie.
So Dracula there.
We saw a vampire skull. They showed something else in that tube, a long one, but I don't know what that was. I couldn't really identify what that was.
Yeah.
And then there's Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let's do with that. The Jekyll and Hyde character, which they had Russell Crowe playing.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? Because we actually got to see spoiler reviews. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It does not
even
matter.
If you have not seen it does not matter what we're going to spoil anything because it means nothing. What did you? We actually got to see Hyde, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Him change.
So I think that was the best part of the film because you got to see obviously his transformation for what 5 minutes, a nice 5 minutes of film.
Bit weak though. Tom Cruise got to hang with him too easily when they were fighting. I reckon.
Yeah, but remember he was playing with him because he didn't really because he's saying to him that he wants him to kind of join him as well at the same time. Yeah. So he's not going to beat him up completely. He just wants to convince him, hey, look, I'm your buddy. But I like the dialogue that they were having where he was kind of trying to convince him that, hey, join the dark side.
I like the voice that he was using, the sort of common Cockney, sort of
Old
East
English,
London.
Yeah.
Sort of, I didn't mind that. Because at first I was hoping it was going to be more of a hulking Mr. Hyde. But I didn't mind what they did with that. But do I want to see a whole film of that?
No.
It doesn't really interest me. And there's also news earlier this week that they've added to this universe Phantom of the Opera. Huh? The guy that hides in the opera house with the mask. That's going to be a monster now. They're going to try and make him some sort of supernatural being. And they've added Hunchback of Notre Dame as well.
Well, they could add in as many characters as they want, all right? Because it'll be interesting to see where they go from this point onwards. Because I expect them to be... They're kind of maybe happy about maybe what they've got on their hands, maybe.
Nah.
You don't reckon?
Nah.
But
the reviews have been garbage. There hasn't been one good one.
All right, okay. So the reviews have been bad. So now it's interesting for us to sit back and see what Universal actually do. Whether they look at this and say, all right, we'll give another film a run and see what we get out of this, or shall we just stop this? Obviously, they're not going to stop it. They've invested so much into this, but I cannot believe, guys, I really cannot believe how bad this film was. You know, like how you walk out of a cinema and you think to yourself, okay, you know what? Hey, this wasn't all that great, but you know what? I could go with this. I could accept this. This is, you know, fair enough.
Fast and the Furious type films.
But when Fast and the Furious was good. But I could go with this. I could roll with this. Take Dracula, for example, all right? That's a good one. We watched it, we saw it, and we thought, you know what? It's not great, but it's not a bad film. I would like to see a continuation from this point onwards.
Most people tear that film apart, but it was like entertaining to a degree. Like we kind of just were able to have fun with that.
Yeah.
Dracula Untold. Way better than this. So that's why it's just so hilarious that they think that they just need to disregard that film in favor of this to be the start. And it makes sense now about the news that we heard last week about them cutting the budgets for the next lot of films, that they want to make them cheaper. Because they probably knew that they spent way too much money on this and it was not good enough and they're not going to get that money back. And to think Mo was confused that this was getting ripped apart and wasn't going to be projected to be good. Yeah, because it's shit.
It's honestly, I've just pushed out a tweet which is run as fast away from this film as you... Was that put down? Run as from this film as fast as you can. Just like run.
They kept throwing things in to remind you of the old Brendan Fraser movie from the early 2000s, which was way better. Those first two Mummy movies with Rachel Weisz as well. They even had the Book of the Dead. You see when they're in that library, and I think
it's like when she worked with it.
It's the actual same Book of the Dead from that film. And it's like, so what are they trying to say, that they're connected? No way. But those films were so much more fun. They were like legitimate adventure movies. From start to finish, those films were incredibly enjoyable. Yeah, and a fun ride. Third one wasn't great, but the first two. Brendan Fraser was really entertaining all the way through it. Yeah. I'm having a difficult time. No, I had a really difficult time. Cruise tried to be funny. He tried to be extremely funny, but I just didn't feel it worked. It's just him. I'm not gonna go on the anti-Cruise rant or anything, but it's just, you just see Cruise in a film and it's just him. It's Tom Cruise. You don't really see a character. Actually, it's just him. Yeah. He always looks the same. He always sounds the same. It's just him. And that's...
What did you think of, what's her name? The character that plays Amina? What?
Sophia Botella, I think her name is. Yeah, for what she had to work with, you know, I thought she did fine, because there wasn't really a whole lot for her to do. And she's not really an actress, she was a dancer who just kind of started doing acting work. But yeah, you know, I didn't really, my complaint with this movie wasn't her. She was fine for me.
Yeah, she was okay. There was some interesting moments with her. There's a scene where she's having she's having a conversation with that blonde chick, where she's tied up. She was pretty convincing. She was pretty kind of menacing, kind of scary at times, but it just...
She had a few moments where there was a little... We seemed a little more empathetic to her wanting to find her love, and she kind of looked like she was worried and scared. But
see, although she was trying to manipulate him, but at the same time, it really did feel like that. You know what? I actually was kind of rooting for her.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's the thing.
Because everyone else was so shit.
Yeah, everybody else was. I was rooting for the bad guy. That says a lot about this movie when you're rooting for the character that's supposed to die. Well, in this case, it's already dead, but like, you know.
How many stars do you give this, man?
So I'll give it 2 stars, and that's kind of being generous.
Out of 5, yeah.
Yeah. 2. I won't budge. Not even 2.5. Just stay with 2 stars.
It's only 2. It's all it deserves. It ain't worth watching. You know, the reviews were kind, in my opinion. None of the reviews were good, but they were relatively kind compared to what I feel this movie ended up being. Yeah, really bad.
All right.
God.
The way they introduce at the beginning, the dark universe, as it turns around,
it even
tried
to make its own little stamp, you know. I guess they figured Marvel has its little flickering comic book pages, and DC's got its new thing where it shows all the different, you know, DC heroes kind of swinging, the cameras flow through little CG versions of them. And I guess they figured they need their own stamp so that people could see and identify this series of movies. And even that was kind of shit.
Yeah.
People actually giggled in the cinema when they saw that Dark Universe sign, and people decided to be like giggling to themselves.
Yeah. Oh boy. To fight a monster. What's the line? You
need a monster to fight a monster, or become a monster to fight a monster. That's cliched shit.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. So what are they doing over there, man?
You know, here's a question. I know we're going on a bit, right? But what would you have actually liked? Because what we saw, we didn't get what we wanted. What would you have preferred? What did you want from this film?
I wanted it to be a good adventure movie like the Brendan Fraser ones, but in modern times. That's what I wanted. You know, I was hoping Tom Cruise being in it would add a certain level of quality. That guess didn't see the case because the script was terrible, so they needed a better script, a more original script. It was too... I like the idea that they tried to kind of weave in Crusades and Crusade Knights into the sort of story of, you know, the ancient Egypt. They found the tomb and found some of the artifacts. And I thought, because I like history, I like films that dig into sort of historical myths and various things. But they just approached it in just such a lazy way.
Even there's a bit at the end where, hey guys, it's a spoiler, so turn away now if you're going to watch this film. But in the end, he stabs himself, right, to become like to become a god, right?
Set.
So the god of death, right? So he stabs himself. The god of life, isn't it?
No, death. Set.
All right, okay.
The underworld. That's just dumb because he's supposed to transform into Set, but he's still himself. So what? He's so powerful that he can withstand the god.
Yeah. So he's half still human and he's half god, and he's trying to suppress that. She's like turning around and saying, "Oh, you saved my life. You saved my life. Thank you so much."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Don't come close to me. Do not come close, because I don't know what I am." Oh my god! And then he brought his friend back to life, back how they started the adventure.
Yeah, like we don't know. I don't fucking care. The direction was lazy. Don't even remember the director's name. I can't remember to look it up. It's not really worth it. It wasn't good enough. See, even if it was directed in a cool, original way, it still would have been bad, but at least you could have had that visual aspect of cool scenes and cool actions. There wasn't even that.
Yeah.
The end, like, there wasn't even really an end action scene. It was just,
you know,
he grabs her, throws up against the wall, and kisses her and turns her into a husk.
You know what they would have been better off doing, right? They would be better off just completely not releasing this film and bringing back the old Brandon Fraser one and call that. Like, start with that.
Yeah, start with that one.
That's it. That's what they needed to do. Digitally remaster it, you know, added a few more effects or whatever, bring it back, throw a 3D like tint on it. That's it.
Re-release in cinemas.
Yes.
Chapter 1.
I guarantee you that will probably make more money than this.
Alright, welcome back. So, you just checked out our brutally honest review of The Mummy. Not a good start for the whole Dark Universe. And it's actually a good way to transition into the whole, as mentioned in the review, that 2 new characters have been added into this Dark Universe, which I don't know if this Dark Universe is really ever gonna fully get its
act together.
Yeah, and actually kind of connect up to one big movie. But they've added Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
So I'm not entirely sure how those 2 characters would fit into the Dark Universe.
Like,
but
I guess somehow they're making the Phantom of the Opera a little bit supernatural.
Yeah, well, you could, to be honest, let's face it, they could throw in whoever they want. They could throw in whoever, you could throw in whoever you want when it comes down to this. So when it comes down to Phantom of the Opera, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but he has to be a supernatural being rather than just some guy who's slightly disfigured.
Yeah, so they'll just shape up the story a bit.
But
maybe he's had a visit by, I don't know, Dracula. I don't know. Anything could have happened.
What is he? He's just a guy with a mask on. Like, what powers is he going to have now?
What's his story? Do you know?
Isn't his story that he's like disfigured and he's like basically hiding away from the world?
What it is. He's an opera singer who disfigured his face and he's hiding in the basement.
Maybe
he's not supernatural at all.
All right, so maybe he comes across something that makes him into a supernatural being towards the end. I don't know. You could do anything with it. Do I want to see it? I have no interest personally after watching The Mummy.
Maybe Tom Cruise wants to go watch Phantom of the Opera, and that's how they bring it in.
God, can you imagine the Phantom of the Opera film? Like, would they have singing in it?
No, they wouldn't have singing in it.
But he's the Phantom of the Opera. He's an opera singer. It's his whole thing.
Turn it into a musical.
Maybe he's like a banshee. Maybe, you know, like canaries. Well, maybe that's the thing. He has his powers. It's like his voice. Like, everything explodes.
I don't know if that will work. That sounds really bad, though, Eddie.
Either way, but they got to make him different than everybody else. It can't just be strong.
Did you just hear what you just said? You're giving him superpowers by just his voice. That's it.
Yeah, what else is going to be? Strong?
Well, they could add in something else.
Mr. Hyde is already strong. Hunchback of Notre Dame is probably just going to be like the Hulk. You know what? Before I said I don't want The Rock to be involved in this, yeah, get him in. Get him in. Let him contribute to this dog shit. Shit up on shit.
Okay.
But you know what will happen? Like, they'll put The Rock in it, and all of a sudden it will start making that like $100 million in the opening weekend.
Would it be good? I don't know. You guys see the Big Panther teaser? The Pink Panther.
Yeah.
The Black Panther.
I was
teaser.
actually thinking, wait, is this like a trailer that I should have seen that I haven't seen yet?
It's about time that
Have you not seen it?
But yeah, the Black Panther teaser.
Yeah. That looks so good. And you know what? It actually looks different enough from like the other films that have come before.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I picked up on it. That how strange this film came across to me. Just slightly different overall when it comes down to. Just, I suppose, I've never seen, there hasn't been a black superhero movie yet, right?
Blade.
Oh, that was actually pretty good, the first one. Apart from Blade. But just on the scale that this is, we've seen nothing like this before.
I think the sci-fi element is different.
Yeah.
With that sort of African setting. It's a different visual mishmash.
Completely different. I saw this, man. And first of all, when it was posted in our room, I had to watch this like 4 or 5 times to like just take it all in, because I thought to myself, wait, is this for real? Are they actually heading down this route? Because it looks super crazy. It looks mad. Mo, I take it you thoroughly enjoyed it, right? And you probably watched it like a load of times like me.
I think it looks really, really good. I was going to touch on that whole, like, yes, it is quite jarring to see everybody on that screen is pretty much black, which I thought was fantastic. I really hope that doesn't keep certain sort of segments or demographics away from going to see it, because that would be a real shame. Because the actual action and stuff looks like it's gonna rock.
Oh, inevitably someone's gonna hate on it.
Do you reckon this in African countries, like people in Africa, when they see this trailer, they get like really excited about this?
Be interesting to find out, actually.
Because, you know, when it comes down to the release of the film in Africa, like, could it even rank up even more at the box office than like normal with all the other Marvel films?
Absolutely. Because they don't often see.
No, you just don't see this sort of stuff.
Skill representing them. So I guess it's inevitable it's going to do better.
I think between the two of you guys, you've said pretty much everything on that. It's just roll on February now. I can't actually believe it's actually hitting so close. Like, there's like, because I think you're kind of used to having like 2 Marvel movies in a year, and almost like, because the fact that's hitting in February, it's almost like you're getting 4.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
A Marvel screenwriter is developing a live-action Cowboy Bebop TV series.
Cowboy Bebop.
You know, you've seen Cowboy Bebop, the anime.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just can't remember it.
The sci-fi in space, the group of... You've completely forgotten Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Wow, Mo, you never got around to it, did you?
So I think I've only seen the 1 episode so far. I think that was when my phase where I was just trying to cram in too many shows. But that was actually quite enjoyable. So I'm not entirely sure why I didn't actually go back and finish it. But I know it's like a very, very beloved show, and it is universally acclaimed as being like one of the best anime shows.
I actually don't remember this show at all.
I'm sure you've seen it.
What?
Showing Salem images, and he's
no, dude. I'm completely no. I thought I hadn't seen this. Definitely haven't.
Oh, yeah,
it's got the funky jazz like theme tune and like music.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Is it like a manga or?
It's anime, yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it.
In a way, it's been around quite a good few years, and it's kind of Firefly-ish in the fact that it's a bit of a, even though it's way more techno whatever than, you know, Firefly, but it kind of has a Western vibe to it.
Okay.
They're like bounty hunters and they catch criminals, and it's a fun show. It's a damn good one. But they've been talking about making a movie of this for a long time, but now they've got a guy called Chris Yost, who's the Thor Ragnarok writer, on board. So if Ragnarok turns out to be as good as we're hoping, very optimistic for this.
But when this news broke, I did notice there was a lack of like saying who was behind this, like where it would be airing and who was bringing in the funding. So I'm not entirely sure whether this is like a proper done deal yet.
I'm actually surprised it's a TV series now, because they were always talking about doing it as a movie. So it's gonna be, I'm a little worried in making it a TV show, because I guess it depends on where it is, what station makes it, because
yeah. So this is obviously something that you don't really want to do on the cheap.
Yeah.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Like that, you see?
No, I see. I get the idea.
Bruce Lee passion project, The Warrior, is moving forward at Cinemax with Justin Lin. So this was something that Bruce Lee wanted to make. He was developing for years. Probably called The Warrior. I've got some notes on it. Let me see if I can bring it up.
So Justin Lin basically did, if you give me 1 second, he did Star Trek Beyond, Fast and Furious 6, Fast 5,
Fast and Furious 2.
the other Fast and Furious, so he's like a Fast and Furious director.
So what I'm hearing from this is The Warrior has been a passion project that Bruce Lee spent many years working on, but was never published or produced. Years after Bruce Lee's sudden 1973 death at the age of 32, his daughter found the last collection of handwritten notes that Bruce wrote himself on the concept for the series that became the inspiration for the show. So his daughter's going to be involved in this. So that means hopefully they're going to stay true to it. But we don't know that much about it.
Well, Justin Lin his direction, since he came onto the Fast and Furious projects, I think he's like turned it all around.
Very vibrant,
yeah. Jam-packed, action, crazy, adventurous. You know what? He brings a lot when it comes down to direction.
Yeah.
So for him to take something like this on, although we don't know nothing about it, right?
It's a gritty, action-packed crime drama set during the brutal Tong Wars of San Francisco's Chinatown in the second half of the 19th century.
See, that does sound pretty crazy.
And it will be a martial arts show.
Yeah. This sounds... anything to do with Bruce Lee, man. I know, like, it'd be cool, like, if they could friggin' digitally remaster him and just bring him on, like, on screen, like a digital version of Bruce.
I don't know. It's a TV show, man.
Even if it's just for like I don't know, 10 minutes,
just for a short scene. But
yeah,
are we there yet, though?
I think you're like jumping the gun there. I think this is based on an idea. I don't think Bruce is going to be brought back to life to be in it.
Even as a little tribute scene, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
Making.
And I think there's the crux of the problem, really, because they're saying like this is a Bruce Lee property or a Bruce Lee passion project, right? But it's kind of like, yeah, let's slap this on here, so this will like at least get like some people either watching or get people interested in financing.
Well, Justin Ling's involved, so I don't think they've got any problems with that. It's on Cinemax, so they're the people that did Banshee. It's also the Banshee showrunners involved as well.
Yeah,
so.
But Banshee is an amazing show. So if they even head remotely down that road, I think we've got a really, really cool little story on our hands.
I like the description. It's a brutal, gritty, crime drama. So it's not going to be some little...
So brutal crime drama. When you look at Banshee and how brutal that is...
perfectly up there.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, so you're doing all the Chinese immigrants that came into San Francisco in the 19th century, so little triad gangs and families trying to survive.
This is perfect.
Yeah, I don't think they need to digitize Bruce Lee to be in it. That won't work, because look at Rogue One. Look at those shitty digity characters.
But the reason why I say that is because, okay, Bruce has...
it won't look good, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's... Alright, what I'm trying to... He doesn't have to be in it all the way through, but just something... But
even the glimpse... Look at... But saying Rogue One, even Princess Leia in Rogue One didn't look right. And it was complete. It took you out. And what's his name?
Peter Cushing's character.
Yeah,
just like...
that looked terrible.
So just visualize it. Like, there's a situation where this family's going to be attacked by these triads. Like, they're coming close to them with knives, and all of a sudden you hear, you have to be like water. And all of a sudden, Bruce Lee just
switches off.
Bruce Lee just jumps out, he does his things, and he just disappears. There you go.
Hold on, so what are you saying? Bruce Lee dies at that point, and then he doesn't appear with the rest of the series?
Yeah, he doesn't need to come back. It's just I thought it'd be nice because he's actually kind of contributed towards this or written this. It'd be nice just to actually see him, just maybe, a minute, 2 minutes, something. Did you guys see it?
The Justice League reshoots that are being done with Joss Whedon are said to be extensive. So it looks like those early rumors of the new reshoots being almost like filming a whole other film aren't that far off.
So that's actually really positive. I know the dude is a hard worker, but it's like, how much can you do in the remaining amount of time left?
Yeah, that's the thing. But is it just a case of just redoing all those dialogue scenes? Maybe that's... It's going to be hard though, because Aquaman's shooting in Australia, so Jason Momoa can't really be that much as they would need him to be, because he's currently shooting that in Australia. While Justice League...
Or they get him on a plane and get his ass over.
No, but they're shooting just Aquaman now.
Yeah, but if you rearrange like when he's required, I'm sure like they could do it to free him up for a few days. Like, do second unit shooting, do bits that he's not involved in.
That's what they're gonna have to do, but it's not as simple as this when you're already involved in making the film. I don't think the James Wan who's making Aquaman is going to be too happy that his star is going to suddenly disappear to the other side of the world for whatever amount of time, because Justice League's being shot now in London.
Or they just get everybody down there together, mate. There's ways to do it. There's ways to do all that sort of stuff.
Henry Cavill is currently shooting Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, so he's not going to be available the same amount of time. What's the Face is still promoting Wonder Woman, flying around doing interviews for that in various countries around the world because it's not released yet everywhere. So she's still doing that. So the timetable of getting everyone together is a mess, and Affleck's life's falling apart. So I don't know how he could be in. So it makes it a little
all over the place.
Yeah.
See, you're looking at it. You're looking at it from an angle where things are a problem. Sure, yeah, it's challenging, but like if they want it, if they're planning to do all of these reshoots, they're going to get all those guys together.
They will.
And Mr. Wheatle will make it happen.
But it may just be a bit choppy. Maybe you can't get everyone at the same time. You're just going to have to shoot everyone's little individual pieces.
Do you remember like season 5 of what's that show that was on Netflix, the Jason Bateman one?
Yeah, Arrested Development. Everyone was shot their stuff different.
So I did not know that none of the actors shared the same scene.
That's the point. You can't get around.
And if you had never told me that, I would never have known that each actor shot their own bit on their own.
Mo, clearly you haven't had any directing classes like myself. I saw it all the way through. When I was watching those scenes, I knew they weren't shot together.
I'm presuming it's like all dialogue scenes that are just being redone. Because I don't want to lose the action stuff. Because that's the thing that Zack Snyder does better than anyone, the action stuff. So as long as they don't mess around with that and just redo all the dialogue stuff, then I'm okay.
You know what? I'm just fascinated about how with Sweden just going in and just looking at what he has to work with, and then walking home that day, sitting down with his wife, having this conversation. How the hell am I going to fix this with the time that I have? You know, it's you know what? To actually sit down with him and have this conversation and just find out exactly where he wants to take it or what he sees at the moment. That'd be really friggin' fascinating, man.
But if it is a case of not having to do the action stuff, because that's the stuff that takes the longest amount of time to do.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have to deal with that, and it is just conversations and those personal moments, that the stuff that he's good at, the character stuff, then that's not too bad. That's doable within the time.
I guess there's also the real possibility here that they could over-engineer this so much now that they could actually destroy whatever they have.
If this movie comes out, Justice League, and people love it, Joss Whedon's going to get all the credit. And they're going to reckon that, because you're not going to know which bits were done by who. And even if he didn't do that much, Joss Whedon's going to get all the credit for saving this film and being the one that made it good. And if it's bad, he's going to get all the blame.
Right? But you know, like if you look at Joss Whedon's track record, and if you look at Zack Snyder's track records, you know which directors' movies, but the more number of movies that you've enjoyed.
Yeah,
have you ever seen? You've seen Superman 2, right?
Yeah, Donner cut.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting because it still uses a lot of the same footage, right? But they are almost two very different. Well, not two different movies, but like the way they handle things is quite different.
Quite a bit different. It just shows you how significant scenes can change a movie.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
You have new mail.
We're already on Salim Sack.
We're not calling it that.
I will dip out the first thing from Salim Sack.
Oh, fuck's sake. It's never going to go away.
So, the very first one is from our old buddy, the Geeky Dentist.
It was mine.
It says, what TV shows do you say had a great first season and had a fantastic potential but epically failed or were cancelled in its second season? For him, it was Jericho. Great first season, great premise, and second season was utter tripe. This is quite a difficult one, but I have got an epic answer for this.
It's going to be Dexter for me, man. A show that, not necessarily in the second season, but it started off as such a great show. Yeah. So enjoyable. I loved it. And then it just deteriorated.
Yeah.
As each season went, it just kind of got worse and worse.
For me,
I think most shows deteriorate the more seasons it goes on.
Yeah. So for me, that would be Prison Break. It started off so good, a brilliant first season, and after that, it just like fell apart.
See, the second season of Prison Break was very, very enjoyable, though.
I still carried on watching it, though. It was crap.
And I'm still watching it. For me, I think there is no other show that really falls exactly into this than Heroes, because that first season was just epic.
Yeah. See,
and then it just all went to hell.
interesting thing is, I've actually tried to revisit Heroes a few times, and I can't get through that first season. It does not hold up at all.
Really?
It does not hold up.
Well, when's the last time you saw the first season, Mo?
So I think I've seen the first season twice.
Oh.
Wow. What, recently?
No, I don't think it's recently.
Yeah, I think we tried to watch Heroes again recently, man. I don't think I could sit through that.
Annoying
yeah,
music
but are
as
you
well.
saying you tried to watch it recently? Are you saying the first season, or are you saying the new series that just came out last year?
No, I'm talking about the first season. It just doesn't hold up well, so
no?
It doesn't have the same.
I remember watching that and just being very, very impressed with it.
Oh, so when it originally came out, so did I. But going back, it doesn't hold up at all.
So, great podcast today, guys. Love your review of Wonder Woman, saw it myself, and pretty much echoed my sentiments. I've got a couple of questions for you for the podcast this week.
Good man.
First off, did you hear that even though that the Wonder Woman movie was standalone, it might have given hints to the future DC villain? Here's the quote. Dr. Poison's special strength enhancing gas feels so out of place when watching the film. However, when viewed in context of the entire DC universe, it seems to make perfect sense for Dr. Poison's potent toxin to pave the way for the creation of Venom, the substance which Bane would eventually use to overpower Bruce Wayne and break his back. Bizarre steroids are not uncommon in the realm of the comic book universe, but the similarities between Poison's gas and Venom are incredibly easy to pick out to even the most casual fans. From the sheer strength and durability that Lundroff displays to his aggressive and rabid behavior while using the gas, it all points to an eerily and unstable form of Venom.
Ah, yes, I did personally pick this up.
Yeah, that makes sense. It does.
Yeah, it does.
It does actually make sense. I can see that happening. But who was that quote by?
I have no idea. He doesn't actually tell us where that quote's come from. So he goes on to say, did you also hear that Tom Holland wants to also at some point in his career play Batman and James Bond? Talk about ambition. If the kid succeeds in that he will effectively have lived every child's dream and growing up. Imagine being Superman and Batman and James Bond. Wow, talk about a resume.
You mean Spider-Man and Batman and James Bond?
Oh, sorry, yes. Sorry, Spider-Man, not Superman.
I don't think he's going to be Batman, or actually I don't think he'll be Bond either, because he's actually pretty short.
How tall is he?
Yeah,
but does that really make a difference?
Yeah.
I mean, not really.
You phrase stuff like you frame it so you don't look so short. Look at like Tom Cruise.
That's too much effort.
They make him look.
No one's a big enough star nowadays that you really need to make that effort to just get a bigger guy. Like there's no one's worth it at this point. I don't see him ever being Batman or Bond. Not that he's not necessarily good enough, but he's a small guy. Maybe Bond, but nah.
Right, so our next email is from Devonta, who actually writes the name down in syllables for me to actually pronounce out. Thank you very much. He starts off with, what do you think about the new rumour that with her star on the rise, Patty Jenkins should direct Man of Steel 2? She did great with Wonder Woman. However, this does not look likely, as she isn't even signed in for Wonder Woman 2 yet, which is a travesty, considering that she would get a hell of a rise to manage to make one good movie in what has been a clusterfuck so far.
Yeah,
she's beaten the curse.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'll be surprised if they don't hire her back. I did hear that she did want to do it. I mean, Wonder Woman 2. I'm really surprised that they haven't locked in like her for a number of movies. Whether they use you or not, they normally like tie you in. Yeah, that's true.
Well, look, obviously Wonder Woman was a good movie. She's had time to think about certain things that she may want to do, be even more creative. She's had time to spend with, obviously, Gal Gadot. The whole being a part of the Wonder Woman world. It'd be silly for her not to direct the second one. If she turned it into a pile of shit, then I would say, yeah, fair enough. But no, absolutely, she did a good job. Why not?
Yeah, I see. I definitely think they will bring her back. As far as Man of Steel goes, I don't know if they do bring her back for a second one. I don't think there'll be time to do the Man of Steel film. I think they want to do that one a lot sooner than the Wonder Woman one comes.
I would like to see her take on that, actually, because after seeing how good Wonder Woman was, I think she would bring like a sort of like a fresh perspective to it that's been missing from the last few Superman movies.
But dude, like the action, like let's go back to the action of Wonder Woman. My biggest complaint was there was only 2 real scenes. Okay, the first one and the scene where Wonder Woman goes in to take out the Germans in the building, right, with the slow motion shots and all that. Apart from that, there really wasn't anything else, and that's my concern with her. If she comes on to do Superman, then like I want to see really seriously crazy action, like Zack Snyder action. So
what you're saying is that even though she made a really good comic book movie that didn't have action, didn't require action, you would say, right, you don't want to see a Superman movie like that.
Well, it is. Of course it requires action, man.
But Mo, which one would you rather see? Her do Wonder Woman 2 or Man of Steel? Because I don't think she can do both. No, I don't think she can. There isn't time.
But if there's just one.
There isn't time to do both, because they're going to overlap on each other. So these things take a long time to develop, man.
Do you know what the release schedule is? Is that an absolute set that they would do that? They could rearrange stuff?
They've been looking for... You're very naive when it comes to these movies, Mo. You don't really take into account that how hard work it takes in to find a window to make these films. Because they've been talking about hiring a director to do Man of Steel.
Listen. Josh Whedon is about to completely refilm and redirect the whole
not
of the Justice League in
refilm, man. It's just like a few scenes here and there.
Substantial reshoots. Very different. But they've already been talking about, remember we were saying that Zemeckis was interested in maybe doing a Man of Steel. Like, they've been bouncing around ideas for a director. That means it's not that far away. Maybe 3 years.
I reckon we do this, right? We give Patty Jenkins Man of Steel 2, and once Whedon is done, we give him Wonder Woman, because he so wanted to do that movie in the past.
He's got Batgirl, remember?
It's not Batgirl. He can go do Wonder Woman. Because I don't think he'd want to work with Priyanka Chopra.
Fucking hell. Forgot about that.
Yeah, so Devontae goes on to say, speaking of Wonder Woman, I have some interesting facts for you. Did you know that Patty Jenkins was in talks to direct this in 2005, but got pregnant and had to step down? Also, did you know that this time there were talks in doing the film starring Angelina Jolie? Thank God that didn't happen. And around at that same time, Josh Whedon was hired to write and direct the film, but left in 2007 due to creative differences. Might have missed a trick with that one. And finally, Gal Gadot filmed some reshoots, including stunts, while pregnant with a green cloth around her stomach, removing her belly in post-production.
Yeah, I know that.
They did that with Scarlett as well during Age of Ultron, because she was pregnant during that.
Yeah, I wonder how that goes down with labour laws. Like, you're contracted to do a thing, but like it must be quite difficult at that point to do some of the stuff that they want.
Well, it's not heavily like 8 months, of a massive bump, but it's just, first couple of months, you need to get rid of it.
Yeah. Of course, do any of you remember that Wonder Woman TV show? What? I don't know, I can't remember if it ever got past the pilot, but it was probably about like 7 or 8 years ago.
No, they only did the pilot and it was just such a clusterfuck. It was by the Ally McBeal dude. Yeah, it was terrible pilot. Oh, speaking of which, you mentioned that when Joss Whedon was doing Wonder Woman, his script's available online, so guys, check it out. You can read it, the whole thing.
Have you ever read it, Eddie?
I haven't got around to it. I've actually got it on my computer right now, but I haven't got around to reading it. But I'm very curious to do so. I want to know what his vision was.
Well, he really does excel in that kind of like putting the female as the central hero character. Mm-hmm. And our final email this week is from our friend Nikito.
Nikito!
Hey, last week was fun, so I figured I'd ask a similar question this week. Top 5 movies and top 5 TV characters you have ever seen on your respective screens. On a side note, Eddie is the only one to see the greatness in Pulp Fiction. Top 5 all time without a question. And since we did a top 5 TV show last week, I thought it'd be fun to do a top 5 sitcom this week. What are your favourite sitcoms and why? So there's 2 questions there. Your top 5 movie and TV characters and your favourite sitcoms.
Movie characters, it's a difficult one. We didn't really think about this one during the week.
So, Han Solo, easily. Everybody wants to be Han Solo.
Yeah, as a kid, Han Solo was definitely up there.
Yeah. Or Indiana Jones.
Indy, yeah, he does be up there. Martin McFly, always loved
Or
Martin McFly.
if you were a kid, absolutely. How many times did you dream of being Danielson and doing that crane kick to win the tournament?
I never wanted to be Danielson. I don't know why. I never wanted to be him.
He wanted to be Mr. Miyagi.
Dolph Lundgren from He-Man.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
James Bond? None of you have fantasies of being James Bond?
No. Only to like, yeah, so you could have like, with all the chicks that he was pulling.
Yeah, I guess you could say he deserves to be out there as one of the best characters in a movie.
I suppose there's so many different interpretations of him, it's quite difficult to pin him down as a character.
That's a hard one to nail, man. There's just so many. Like, it's just... As soon as you name one person, suddenly your brain just switches to someone else.
Yeah, and favourite, like, TV characters, I suppose there's been in movies as well, but Nathan Fillion in Firefly just came across as just, like, one of the best characters of all time on TV.
Yeah, he was great. Nathan Fillion's always good, but he's always himself, though. He's the same character in everything he's in.
And that's the brilliance of Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
He should be in more stuff. He's wasted just being in, like, what's it, like 10 seasons now of Castle, or however long it is?
Yeah, it's finished now, though, so...
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't have a better career. Like, you know...
Well, no, he has. He's been on the TV show for, like, the last 10 seasons.
Yeah, but it would have been cool, like, there was that talk of him actually being in, like, maybe in the Marvel Universe, or, you know...
Or being Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean, because he's such a good actor. You know, I would want to see just him in a film where he carries it all the way through. I think he can, no problem.
And then your top 5 sitcoms.
Oof, that's... Oof.
Now, I don't know whether we have to classify a sitcom as having a laugh track.
I personally do.
Yes.
I personally do. Yeah, so it would be like ones like Rose... no particular order. Roseanne. Frasier. Friends.
Friends is actually quite watchable, you know. You go back and you put on a random episode and you will sit there and watch it.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Definitely counts. And what's another sitcom that I actually really enjoyed watching?
So you don't like any of the newer stuff, like How I Met Your Mother?
I liked it to start with, but it just... Yeah, it lost its way for me, man. Definitely not Big Bang Theory. Go away. I can't think of the fourth one.
No Cheers, no Seinfeld.
Yeah, you got to have Seinfeld in there, man. Costanza.
It's a good... No,
Costanza...
racist son of a bitch.
No, you're talking about Kramer. Costanza was the fat short dude, yeah. It was so funny.
Seinfeld was a decent show. I never really took to it as much
Home
as...
Improvement?
Oh, I did love that. I wanted to live in Home Improvement. Yeah, make that number 5. I wanted to be in that show.
Home Improvement was so good, man.
Yeah.
See, in my list, I'd have to include stuff like How I Met Your Mother, because I really did enjoy that. I think anything with Patrick Harris is just funny.
Oh, Grounded for Life as well as to get an honourable mention. I really love that show.
Grounded for Life? Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Love it.
There was stuff like, I think I would probably have to include something like Cheers in mine, because I remember as a kid just absolutely loving that. I am rewatching Seinfeld at the moment, so I would include that because it's as funny today as it was back then. Frasier is an absolute given. And I know that the weird thing is, I know as soon as we finish recording, there's going to be so many that I suddenly remember that I'm going to be like, why didn't I mention that?
See, I have to actually make a preface on this because we're talking sitcoms and I've really been focused on the American ones, but I can't lie, things that have a special place in my heart, like Only Fools and Horses and those.
Oh yes.
Oh my god, yeah. Only Fools and Horses, Bottom.
The UK shows, Bottom. Yeah, actually I have to rearrange my top thingy now because those two have to definitely be in the top 5.
Out of all the sitcoms we've just mentioned, Bottom, it was the one that made me laugh the most.
I love Bottom. Yeah, I used to crack up with Bottom. They just beat the shit out of each other every episode.
Yeah, every episode.
There is another one actually. So you guys probably never seen this one, but I think it's a BBC show called Coupling. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I saw Coupling. That was great.
Did you guys?
That was great.
Has anybody said Everybody Loves Raymond?
Oh yeah,
because that was brilliant, man. That's probably up there.
Do you see the trailer for his new show?
No.
So he's got a new show coming on Epix, right? Where he plays like the head of some sort of movie studio, and these two guys go to him to make a movie, but they blackmail him to get it like funded. It actually looks pretty good. It's not like a sitcom or anything.
I reckon out of all of them, for me, it's got to be Everyone Loves Raymond or Bottom, one or the other. Yeah, can't choose between the two.
Oh man, that's quite extreme because they are two very different types of shows.
Yeah, it's just with Bottom, they just crack me up. I just laugh so much through that episode, like because like every time they just like pound the crap out. It's like a proper crazy.
It was insane. Yeah, so I liked about the British sitcoms that they were just way darker and so much fun.
I don't know how well this is aged, but I remember as a child absolutely loving Family Ties.
Oh yeah,
with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, I did watch those, but it didn't really stick in me where it's something that I've loved into adulthood. But yeah.
And then there are those other ones that are probably like throwaway ones, but still memorable from childhood, like The Golden Girls and Different Strokes.
Oh yeah.
Were you guys into Bewitched?
Bewitched?
Yeah.
Does that count?
Yeah, laughter track on that.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
And what's the other one with the one was there was like there's a few that they had monsters in them. They were hiding.
Oh, Monsters.
Oh, I think it was just called
Addams
The Monsters.
Family and The Monsters was the other one.
Yeah, oh my god, we're going back in time, but
some old school, man.
Yeah, the old stuff was the best for me, I reckon. Yeah. The stuff now that I watch, it's good, but no, it's that.
You don't watch any sitcoms now. You really don't like comedy, do you?
Yeah, it's not that I don't like comedy.
There aren't good sitcoms now, though.
Yeah, the Last Man on.
There's good comedies, but not sitcoms.
Yeah. So the comedy that I'm watching at the moment is Last Man on Earth. I'm still watching that.
That's the comedy. That's great. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's great, but they're not sitcoms. Like actual sitcoms are shit now. Like Mom and How I Met Your Mother. I mean, not How I Met Your Mother. Big Bang Theory. They're just horrible now.
Oh, come on, man. Big Bang Theory is still watchable. That's it. That's the end of Silent Sack. I don't know if you guys, if you were ever fans of his work, but obviously we had the sad news that Adam West passed away yesterday.
Yeah, he was still doing a lot of stuff for, was it American Dad or was it Family Guy? One of the two?
So on Family Guy, he's the mayor.
Yeah. Shame. He was always like one of those guys who, kind of like with Stan Lee, when you hear his voice, there's something very comforting about it.
Yes. But you also knew when you heard his voice that it was him.
Yeah, very distinctive, man.
Very, very sad news.
Yes, rest in peace, Batman.
You actually let me sign out from this podcast, Eddie.
Go for it.
Okay, guys, don't forget to. No, I think you should sign out.
Guys, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and reviews. It helps us a lot. Helps people to find us. We're getting reviews on the UK iTunes, but the American one, we haven't got any. What's going on, people? You're most of our viewers or listeners. Please, show some love. You want to email us? Mo, how can they get in contact?
If you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. I've been Eddie Reese.
I've been Salem.
This is Mo.
We have been talking at the movies. There, people. That was one of our worst episodes.
That was a really bad episode.